Hi everybody. I'm making this video mostly because I want to read a passage from this book about Amma, world famous hugging saint. I want to share that. Amma's been really influential in my life. Even came to me in a dream and blessed my hands. Despite the fact that when I first heard about her, I was like, what? This was many 20 years ago when I was doing my basic Reiki training with Louisiana Zen. Really fantastic teacher. I was so blessed to have found her. But she was let's say a devotee of Satya Sai Baba, who I'd heard some bad things about, and in general, I was really anti-guru worship. And I loved Louisiana. She was a great teacher, but I was like, God, she's this guru worshiper. And then I said, I had told her that I'm interested in the divine feminine. And I'm actually pretty feminine myself. But she said, oh, you might want to see Amma, the wonderful hugging saint that comes from India, and thousands and thousands of people line up and wait hours and hours and hours to get a hug from her. I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm sure she's a very nice old lady and everything, but I'm not into this whole guru thing. And years go by. I complete my Reiki training, and then by that time, I'd heard about vortex healing. Actually, I wanted to take IET, integrated energy therapy. And I couldn't find a teacher because you work with angels to do that modality. But I couldn't find a teacher. I'd heard about vortex healing, been hearing about it for a while. I had friends that were getting treatments. I looked it up and it looked really interesting. So I started studying vortex healing. Turns out that the main vortex healing teacher, Rick Wyman, and the teachers and many of the students were raving about Amma. And so finally I decided, well, let me see what all the hoopla, what all the hype is about. And I went to see her when she was at the that old theater on, was it 34th Street? Manhattan Center. Really nice old theater. And so I went there. You know, you have to go early in the morning. And if you don't want to wait for hours and hours. And you stand in line outside, then they finally let you in. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of people standing in line outside. Then they let you in, and you get a little ticket. And then they go by the number on your ticket to get called to come up to get your hug from Amma. So, so far I'm like, okay, this seems okay. And, I go inside, and while I'm inside, they have these big video screens, and they're playing videos about her charity work, which is absolutely just mind-boggling. There's really nobody else in the world that does charity work on a level and as many different projects at the same time. Literally, there's probably a couple hundred projects that she's funding all at the same time. And they just opened a new state-of-the-art hospital, the second one. They have a world-class university that she funded, and she, when you're at a level of spiritual awakening where she's at, you can just manifest money pretty much out of thin air. I mean, she just has money pouring in constantly and doesn't really keep anything for herself. It's all to run the ashram, and she has a huge ashram in Kerala, and where there's it's really, really big, and that's where she was born, in that area. But so I'm watching these videos, and I'm like, wow, this is just incredible what this woman is doing. And gradually, I'm just kind of resonating with the energy in the hall, which is really pretty beautiful, right? So the thing that I was afraid of was that it would be this kind of culty sort of thing where they put a lot of pressure on you to donate money and to sign up for this and that, and nobody even asked me for my email address or for a donation. There was absolutely no pressure to do anything whatsoever. And so I'm starting to get really impressed with what's going on here. This is obviously, you can see from the videos, if you pay any attention to them at all, that this is a woman that's totally selfless, that's devoted her life to making the world a better place. And this is, I mean, most of her projects are in India, but there's other stuff that she does worldwide. And, India is a place where there's really a lot of suffering. And so her organization is one of the first organizations to show up when there's a weather disaster, which they're pretty common. And in India, you have massive flooding during monsoon season, whole towns washed away. You had the tsunami that hit the shores of India. And she funded a lot of housing to be constructed for the people that lost their homes. I mean, you could spend half an hour just talking about her charity projects. A friend of mine here in New York City who volunteers when she comes to the city found out that, and this was when she was in the huge hotel in Midtown in near Times Square. I think it was a big Marriott. And, this woman could have afforded to stay in some huge, a special suite. She was actually sleeping in a cot in a van at night. This is a woman that's renounced, that she's not driving around in Rolls Royces. She doesn't keep any of the money for herself. She's a yogini. This is a path of renunciation and embodying the Divine Mother energy, which she is really, of all the saints of all time that I know of, she is the one that embodies the Divine Mother energy in really profound, really super powerful way. So I became, I'm not going to say a devotee, and I'm not going to say that I started worshiping her as my guru, but if one of these people, one of these spiritual masters comes to you in a dream, that's a pretty big deal. So she, when she hugs me, she says, "You're my daughter," And I didn't realize this for a long time, but she it sounded like she was saying, "My daughter, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter." Finally, I realized she's saying, "You're my daughter," and because I have a feminine soul, right? And there was only one time when she didn't say that, and she said this long Sanskrit mantra in my ear that just was. I started giggling afterwards because it was I felt so ecstatic and so blissed out. And I don't remember what year this was, but I think that she, when you're on that level, you just know everything. So I think that she knew that she saw that I was going to create Angelic Liquid Light Healing. Because it was right around that time, 2013, when I got the hug and she did the long mantra in my ear. And I think that was the download. And I think it was the next year when she was at Javits Center, when I sat there and I heard one of her male gurus. She travels with a pretty big entourage, and there's several, male gurus that work with her, and a whole bunch of devotees. But he was given a talk, and this is, by this time I'd been hugged by her 5 or 6 times, and I knew how the routine goes. You're sitting there, you're waiting to get your hug, and one of the male gurus is giving a talk. I'm kind of half listening to it, but then he mentions the Sanskrit seed syllable ma, and suddenly something happened. So that became like a transmission for me, a blessing for me. And I went home after that, and I wrote the manual for Angelic Liquid Light, which pretty much wrote itself, And then I taught my first class a few weeks later, and I had 15 students. I was charging $45. The class lasted about 3 hours. And so the modality was in its infancy, but I was getting signs that it really worked. It was really something special, and it really works. Kind of off on a tangent here, but this is a person that is very important to me. It's a role model for me, and let me see if I can read this. So, one of the most famous miracles or incidents that she's known for is for healing a leper. And this book is written by Swami Amritaswarupananda, who's one of her cohorts, one of her male assistants. And if you ever... Now, I do have an Angelic Liquid Light Healing teacher program, which it's not really written up on my website, but one of my students, Jane Karasik, actually graduated from that program to teach level 1 Angelic Liquid Light Healing. And one of the things that she had to do was to read this book, which I don't think she ever did. I think she read some of it, but the most important thing that she did was, before she even started her training, I gave her a mantra, and a very powerful mantra, the Mahakali mantra. I gave it to her, and I said, you got to do this 1 round a day. And 1 round, that mantra takes like 30, 40 minutes. It's a very long mantra. I said, you have to do this every day for 45 days. If you miss 1 day, you have to start over again. She had a few full starts, and then she did the 45 days. And at that time, I was like, I need to practice what I preach. So I started doing my own 45-day process, and I've actually done several of those 45-day processes with that mantra. And it's just a fantastic mantra. It's very deeply purging and clearing and cleansing, and very powerful mantra. But so if now I want people to teach this. I don't want to control everything. I don't want to be the only teacher. I want to get as many people teaching this as possible. But this is something it's not like Reiki, where you can just take a few days of classes and then get certified as a teacher. It's a little bit different. So you're going to have to jump through some hoops if you want to be a teacher. And to spend 35, 40 minutes a day doing a mantra, is it really that hard? If you really want to be a teacher, you'll do it. And but you got to do it every day. Every day for 45 days. If you miss a day on the 44th day, you got to start over and square one again. I only want people teaching this that are really serious, and this is the thing. So let me know if you want to do the teacher program, and we'll get you going. But I want lots and lots of people teaching this, but people that are really, really serious about practicing it and teaching it, and people that love the modality, and there's a lot of people that do love the modality. I mean, I had 10 of my students channeling with me, and we just love doing this. The last session. So, and the next session will be next Wednesday. I had put it out that it was going to be on Thursday, but I had the wrong date, the full moon. And it's a huge supermoon. Supermoon Pisces, one of my favorite full moons of the year, because I have a lot of Pisces Neptune in my makeup. And and that's a session you don't want to miss. It's Pisces, in a lot of ways, it's the most spiritual sign. Pisces is all about empathy and compassion and tapping into spirit in its highest expression. Okay, so this is the account of Amma healing the leper, Dattan the leper. Boundless compassion is the nature of God. He discards none. His heart is like the expansive sky which enfolds the universe with all its beings. The never-ending stream of his love and compassion embraces every creature in the world. All the great saints and sages of the past and present are embodiments of divine love and compassion. One who meets the Holy Mother, Amritanandamayi, can experience this all-consuming and all-embracing love of God. The following story is a moving testament to that infinite love and compassion. Dattan was born and grew up in Parampally, near Kayamkulam in Kerala. When he was very young, he became a victim of the terrible disease of leprosy. His own parents and relatives turned him out of the house. Finding no other way to earn a livelihood, Dattan became a beggar. Begging his food, he spent his days and nights in a temple compound. As the disease advanced, his whole body was covered with infected wounds and oozing pus. Dattan said, "My eyesight was almost gone. In place of my eyes, there were only 2 small slits. The hair on my head fell out. Nobody would give me any food. I was not allowed to travel in a bus. I used to cover my body with a piece of cloth, but even that would stick to my body and stink from the pus and blood oozing from the putrid-smelling wounds. Even fellow beggars wouldn't allow me to eat or sleep near them. Insects always flew around me, disturbing me. At the mere sight of me, people held their noses and shrank away. For years, I heard no loving word nor saw a compassionate face. Everybody hated me and spat on me, seeing my ugly-looking body and face. I led a dreadfully miserable and despairing life. All my hopes had ebbed away. Then I heard of the Holy Mother and Valukavu. I went to see her on a Bhava Darshan day, but no one would let me go into the temple. Full of abhorrence, people urged me, go away, for my wounds produced a foul smell. But the Holy Mother called me to come to her, consoled me, and treated me like her own child, just as she was treating everyone else. For those who witnessed the healing, it was a chilling sight to watch. The Holy Mother licking his pus-infected wounds, sucking the pus and blood from them. Each Bhava Darshan day, she gave him a bath, pouring pots of water on his head. She smeared sacred ash all over his body and treated him with the same love, affection, and compassion which she showed to other devotees. Witnessing the Holy Mother's merciful way of serving him, some devotees vomited, some fainted. Others watched with awe and reverence, weeping with love and devotion on realizing that they were sitting in the holy presence of the Divine Mother herself. I'm going to have to get a tissue. The holy presence of the Divine Mother herself. Who but she could show such love? The Holy Mother said about Dattan, who else is there to take care of him and to love him? Mother doesn't see his external body. She sees only his heart. I could not discard him. He is my son, and I am his mother. Can a mother abandon her son? Now Dattan is transformed. Almost all his wounds have healed. The Holy Mother's spittle is his divine medicine. His eyes have opened and he can see clearly now. Hair has grown back on his head. He can travel in a bus and people are willing to talk to him and serve him food. Though the scars of the terrible disease still remain on Dattan's body, no more blood nor pus oozes from them, nor is there any putrid smell. He can wear a shirt or a loincloth without it sticking to his body and causing him pain. He is happy. The Holy Mother has given him a new birth. He has found meaning and joy in life through her blessings. So when you're on that level, like Amma, you're not afraid of anything, and you don't feel aversion to anything, because you see and feel the divine in everything. It's always there, you know. It's the immanence of the divine. It's everywhere all the time. But we become blind to it. We judge, we separate. And our hearts get shut down. So I just wanted to share that. And that's why she is my role model. She's a role model for me, and I have tremendous love and respect for her, and she has blessed me many, many times. And without her, there's no Angelic Liquid Light Healing. Now, it should be called Divine Mother Angelic Liquid Light Healing, but actually, the phrase Angelic Liquid Light Nutrients was one of the energies in the modality I got clairaudiently during a vortex healing session, which we're about to do tonight. It's Thursday, August 28th. We're doing vortex healing. Carol and I are doing the vortex healing empowerment session number 4 for healing for loneliness and alienation. And it's a great theme because the people that are into this kind of work tend to have some alienation issues because we are more sensitive. We are HSPs, highly sensitive people. And life can be challenging when you're a HSP, and there's all kinds of traps that you can fall in, and one of them is just building up armoring because it's too much to feel everybody else is suffering, and so you don't want to feel. And but feeling deeply is the only source of real power in this world, and the alchemy of emotion, when we are allowing ourselves to feel all our feelings, not just wanting to have one feeling all the time, wanting to feel happy all the time, or feel cynical all the time, or you know, if we don't have emotional stagnation, if we have freely flowing emotions, then the feeling of love becomes the dominant emotion, and that's the medicine. Yeah. That's the truth. So thank you for listening. I love you all very much, and hope to see you soon. And you know, just one kind of addendum to this, it's time to get together in person. You know, we need to do more of that. And so I'm doing my Reiki circle only once a month, first Saturday of the month. Come to it. You'll like it. You'll love it. You'll be totally safe there. And you'll get a beautiful Reiki treatment. If you're a student, you can both give and receive a Reiki treatment. And it's you know, that's our natural state, is we are wired for community. And that means to be together in person with people, to be able to shake a hand, to pat somebody in the back, to give them a hug, and especially to give each other Reiki, support each other in that way. We had 20 people last month. It was one of the biggest circles I've ever had, and one of the best circles I've ever had. So please come on out and share. And you don't have to be a Reiki student to come. You'll get first treatment after the meditation. If you are a student, I will reattune you, and you can leave a little bit extra in the basket if you want to get reattuned. It's only $20. You know, it's like that barely covers the rent of that space. So I want this to be something that's really available for people, and let's really keep it going. And you know, maybe we can start doing it more often if we get consistently good turnouts. I used to do my Reiki circle every Monday night for years and years and years and years. And my whole practice grew out of my Reiki circle. It was the first thing that I started. And creating community, that's one of my most important intentions in my practice, is creating a community. And you can only do so much online or over the phone. You know, we need to be together in person to touch each other. Thank you.